Lucas, you're so good. Oh, AC Cruz, Chris, you guys are quick. Carrie, there you are. All right, I'm gonna actually put the banner back up. And what else is going on? Why? Sorry, I'm trying to, oops, do something here. What's going on? Not able to click that. Huh. All right, sorry. Just doing something. And I am going to change this other thing. Sorry. Let's just change that to Sway Network. All right, I'm here. Like updates. Oh, you guys want some updates? Well, let's see. I know I tell you there's always limited time, obviously, to fill you in on stuff. What have I not filled you in on? Did not have a meeting last night because everybody's sick. What do I want to fill you guys in on? Well, one of the issues, I'll just talk about what's going on. There's a number of issues I've got. My career, my job is editing, right? So I'm a pro, like a professional. I sit down at a computer, and in particular when it's Avid, the software that we use to edit TV or the show that we're on, and the software that most people have used. It's the most commonly used software. It's called Avid, and if I sit down at Avid, I'm comfortable. I'm at home. I can, if I have all my assets, if I have all the, let's do this. If I have all the, the video files, the audio files, the music files, the graphics files, still images, right? Those are called assets, the kind of things that the raw material that I have, then I get to put it in a sequence and a timeline and start mixing it together and editing it, put the picture and the sound together and some stings, some swells of the volume of the music or hits, right? That's editing, right? You're creating an experience for people. That's what I do for a living. I can sit down at a computer. If I have all those assets right in front of me, I can go to town. I can start crafting something. The problem is, and this tends to be true in any career, is that when it comes to my own stuff, there's always roadblocks, right? When I go to work, they provide all the assets for me. I have the skill to edit it together, and I meet the goals. I meet the objectives and the requirements of my bosses. When I'm working on my own stuff, there are always issues. Number one, right now, I don't have a computer to work on, right? I mean, this laptop here is just the laptop that I use for Bible Every Morning, for This Way Network, right? It's for my Zoom meetings with people. This is a dedicated laptop. I don't have editing software on this laptop, and I could if I had to, if I were forced to. If there were editing software loaded onto this laptop, I could edit something. I wouldn't be as fast as I am on my normal system with a couple of monitors, separate keyboard, etc. I think I should ban Elishaba, because Elishaba has nothing productive to say ever. So this laptop, I can't edit on this laptop. And I have another laptop that's a Mac laptop. I don't have editing software on there. Normally, I have an iMac, which is a nice big screen, and I have my Premiere Pro. It's not Avid, but it's another editing software that I know it somewhat, and I've used it to edit a bunch of stuff. So as an editor, I can figure out just about any editing software. But I don't have that computer because it's in the shop. It's in the shop. It's old. It's going to take some money to get it upgraded. So I handed it off to my guy, who's also the guy who makes the books, who's also the guy that's building the website. It's a guy who's got a lot of things going on. So I can't edit my own stuff without that computer, but I don't have the money to upgrade that computer. And there are other things that are higher priority if I have discretionary income. For example, I have I have almost 30 terabytes of content that I've been creating, like content stuff I've been filming, including my travels to Armenia and to Italy, and I've almost 30 terabytes of content, and a lot of it's not backed up at all. Right? It doesn't have a second copy, right? Another copy of it. It's not backed up. So that's an even higher priority than my computer to edit, right? Having all that stuff, if those drives go bad, I lose that material forever, like priceless stuff, right? So I've got these issues that are kind of compounding, right? Even if I had my computer, I could edit with that material, but that material needs to be backed up first. So there's that issue. Um, so these are a couple of roadblocks that I'm facing right now. And I look at them as like, okay, God, there's other things that I need to be focused on, which are higher priority, which I do have. Like I need to get the pitch deck done, right? It's time. I have a team now. I have the people in place that I need, but I don't have uh, the material. Like I have a version of a pitch deck from 4 years ago. When I first started on this 7 years ago, I thought, okay, this is what the project is going to be. I put together a pitch deck, and right when the pitch deck was ready, the pandemic hit. Right? Okay, well, I'm not pitching this to anybody, and then things changed, and it went from this is not a movie, this is a series, right? And so the pitch deck has to be revised. Problem is, all the files that I need to use to create that pitch deck are on those drives that are also with my computer at my guy's place, at my guy's shop, right? He's supposed to back up all the drives and he's supposed to fix my computer. And I don't have the money to pay to get those things done. So I can't even create the pitch deck to raise the money that I need to do the things, right? So this is just I'm letting you guys in on kind of this quandary, this position I'm in. It's not like I don't have anything to do. I've been networking with people and meeting people, and people like last night I went to an event. Um, um, it's a monthly event, and one of the guys says, "So who's going to invest? Who are your investors?" I'm like, "Well, we'll see. We're in that process. Where my first investor is an Armenian businessman, but I have to right." So kind of the things I just went over with you. So there's some insights. There's some prayer requests, and I look at these things. A lot of times we look at them as hindrances, as obstacles, but I look at them as, okay, God God is orchestrating this according to his timeline. I mean, I obviously have to be responsible and do everything that I can, but when these kinds of issues come up, I look at it, I could be frustrated and angry and irritated and annoyed and lose faith or things like that. But I've realized that God is in control. There's a process taking place. As long as I continue pressing forward, he's demonstrating to me his faithfulness and that he's got it. It's going to happen in his timing. If I had forced the issue, whenever I force an issue, it tends to not go the way it should, right? So don't force the issue. Wait on God, bathe it in prayer, and be patient. And I'm being patient. So, um, all right. Now, I did get through all my notes from Bible every morning, but I want to turn this over to you guys. So, do you have specific questions? Right? All right. I'm just going to look at this. I have used my iPhone to film and edit audition videos and recruiting videos, and that's the beauty of technology that we have in our hands. Supercomputers, right? This is a supercomputer, and you can have editing software on here. Um, but I have 7 years of content on hard drives, right? So I I could edit, I could film something, and in fact, when I was doing Sweet Home Maricopa, I was intentionally making it as quick and easy as possible. I never took any of the content for Sweet Home Maricopa. I never took it into a computer to edit and then upload, right? That's what most people are doing. Like if you're doing more editing and making it, nicer, like Doug does that, he'll film it and he either films it on his computer or on his phone, and then edits it and then uploads it from there. But when I was doing Sweet Home Maricopa, uh, I was filming it here and editing it here and uploading it from here all. And so, but when you have 30 terabytes of content on hard drives, you can't bring it into your phone to edit. But it is wonderful to have like everything you need right in the palm of your hand because of technology. But as a trained editor, you're not getting the best of the best from me if I'm doing it on the phone. All right. Nobody have any questions? Let's see. Let me ask myself some questions. How about what's next? Right? What is next on my agenda? So Tuesday night meetings uh, were up and running, and then everybody got sick. So we had and Tuesday nights are going to be the core team meeting. So we had two in a row, and then everybody got sick, and so we skipped two in a row now. And so I'm having to interpret. I'm like, I think it's still going to be on Tuesdays. It's all legit. Everybody is sick. And the home where we were having the meetings, Christine's home, she was sick, and so we can't. And so I reached out to her, and I was thinking this already, that the most important thing to happen next regarding, I'm looking at Christine as the person to help me get focused on what needs to happen now. Because I got a ton of things I could be doing, right? There's 1,000 different things I could be doing. I've got balls in the air, right? I'm literally juggling. I'm a juggler with 1,000 balls up in the air, right? And which one's coming down next that I have to grab and toss back up in the air, right? If you got 1,000 balls in the air, you're going to be juggling. Your hands going to be moving fast. So I'm picture me as all the balls are up off of my hands, right? All the 1,000 balls are up off of my hands, but one's coming down next, right? And I need to be able to grab it properly and launch it back up. Grab it properly and launch it back up, right? And then grab the next one and launch it back up. Well, Christine is the person that's, I'm recruiting or have recruited and am now informing her of all the balls, right? Like there's this ball, so she has to be able to see all the balls first so that she can see where they're going to meet my hands next, right? And she has to be the one that says, that ball right there, grab it and toss it up, right? So I'm the one, I got all these balls. I know they're in the air and I know where they are. And I know some of them are coming down close to my hands, right? There's a metaphor for you. So what the first, and with her having limited time, right? She's working on a political campaign that obviously ends in November, right? So I think 2 to 3 days a week she's dedicated to that political campaign. And so when you're running a political campaign, it's not not a 9 to 5. It's essentially a 24-hour a day. You're always fielding questions and etc. And then that campaign will be over in November when her candidate wins or loses. She's done. Then she's got more time for me. Well, which means I need to maximize the time I have with her. And she's giving me Tuesdays. At least she gave me a couple of Tuesdays until everybody got sick. And it's hard, and so she does respond when I text her. Sorry about that. She does respond, but not to everything she'll respond as Tuesday approaches if I'm asking her some things. And so what's happening next with Christine is we are going to have a Zoom call sometime this week, right? Because she's like, I haven't been able to give you Tuesdays the last 2 weeks. And so, she's committed, dedicated, but having to keep all the balls in the air for her, right? She's got a bunch of balls in the air of her own. And I'm one of the balls in the air for her, and she wants to help. Thank you, Jacqueline. Thank you. I don't know, that Elisha of a person, like, I don't know who it is, who cares? Let me go in this direction. So what's been happening, and it will continue to happen, is as I'm networking, I'm meeting more and more influential Armenians, and uh, this guy's. I've been aware of his Serge Tankian. For anybody who doesn't know who Serge Tankian is, he's the singer for the band System of a Down, Armenian band, heavy, hard rock, heavy metal band, right up my alley. Uh, It was like Christmas when I discovered System of a Down. Like, so, my brief history: I became a Christian at the age of 18. At 18 in 1988, let's see, Metallica's third album, right, Master of Puppets, I think, uh, was was pretty much as far as Metallica, Megadeth, Peace Sells, Who's Buying, Slayer, South of Heaven, right? It's around that's the music I was listening to when I became a Christian. And then I cut everything off. Like, I just stopped listening to music because as a brand new Christian, I'm like consuming the word of God, right? And singing in the choir, and people are giving me Christian bands that are thrash metal bands and stuff like that. And so I removed myself, essentially, extricated myself from the popular culture. So I wasn't familiar with, you know, you asked me today, I know a few of Metallica's other songs, but I don't know their, for example, as an example, I don't know their entire catalog because I just listened to them up to Master Puppets, right? So System of a Down was not even on my radar. I'd been a Christian, and then fast forward to 7 years ago when I come across this project and I start. Then is after I discovered Sogum and Telerian that I hear System of a Down. I'm like, whoa, this music's amazing. Oh, and they're Armenians, right? And then somebody told me, oh, Serge Tankian's really interested in the Sogum and Telerian story. So Serge Tankian is aware of me. He knows I'm out there. I'm friends with people that know him and have mentioned me to him. So he's aware of me, and he's not interested in me. And that's understandable because I'm a nobody, right? I'm a nobody. He's a world famous rock star, famous, influential Armenian who's called upon by others. And who's this guy, right? Who's this guy? He's telling the Sogum and Telerian story. He's like, wow, I got a friend, Carla Carpedian. She's telling a Sogum and Telerian story. And she's a known quantity in the industry, blah, blah, blah. Right. So, and that's fine. Right. It's fine. They'll find out who I am, right? As my status rises. That's what's happening. I've gotten the legal agreement, the contract with the family, and nobody else does. And then more and more people are coming to the project. And I think it's when after the next round of investors come in, right? That's where we're at. When they see what we're building, they will come, right? If you build it, they will come, that principle. So I can't, I have reached out to Serge way back pre-pandemic. I got the number for his manager, a guy, I think his name is George, a guy that kind of handles business. So I got a number for him. I spoke on the phone with him briefly and then left a message and never heard back. And that's to be expected for famous people. Like, people are always trying to reach out to them. But what I've learned even before this, in my Hollywood career, is you can't go, well, if you, as an unestablished quantity, for example, I don't have a blockbuster movie under my belt, right? I've not produced $100 million profit film, right? I've not done something like that. So, as an example, or I don't have a Grammy award winning uh, rock song, right? I don't have something of that status that puts me in a different realm, right? So to people that are at that level, anybody that's coming to them with an idea is kind of like a buzzing gnat, right? Because you've got everybody wants to come at you with ideas. Right? I've got an idea for a song, Serge. You should sing about this. I've got an idea for a movie, Serge. You should do this. It happens to everybody who is famous. The world comes to them. And even I do have some status, right? And then when people find out who I am, people are pitching to me ideas all the time. I'm like, wait, I don't have time in my schedule to take your ideas. I've got 1,000 ideas of my own that I'm trying to get done. So for me to go to Serge Tonkin and say, hey, you should do my project. No, that's not how it happens. So I've learned that from just my experiences. My mentor, who is a guy named Dave McFadzean, one of the creators of Home Improvement, a film producer, right? When I was able to get a script into his hand, I'm like, whoa, okay, what do I want out of this? This guy reads 1,000 script. People are just trying to get scripts into his hands all the time. So just to have him read it is a success. And initially I was like, well, maybe he'll want to champion my project, right? That's the idea. Go to Serge Tonkin to get him to champion your project. No, 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 no. The project is the star. The project is the thing that will draw people. I can't be going to someone else to see them as the champion. I'm the champion of this project. And it has to rise to the level where they see what I'm doing and they are wanting to be involved. Can't force it into anybody's lap. I'm going to have meetings with these people eventually, right? It's been happening, right? There's been some full circle moments when I'm brought back into across people's paths. So I hope that makes some sense what I've just been babbling about. Exactly. Okay. So yes, exactly. This and that's the threshold that I've crossed, right? That's the success that I've had is completing something that is independent, right? Like a song. You don't really know about a band until they have a song you can listen to, right? The artists are one thing. Getting to know the guys is one thing, but you don't really know who they are until you listen to their music, right? And that music, that song that's completed and mixed, it's mastered and mixed and engineered, etc., and made as good, and then it's released. And then you are able to consume the thing independently of your relationship with the individuals. You are able to consume their art, to know who they are and appreciate them, independent of meeting them, right? And I've finally done that, right? The 7-year process was to get a thing out there that when people consume it, they get it. And that's what happens with this book. And so the next hurdle is getting that book not just into people's hands, but getting it to them and having them read it, right? And so the people that do read it get it and are transformed by it and are excited about it. So, um, and so getting the book completed, like getting a song completed is one thing, then getting it distributed, right? There's all these different hurdles, right? Getting the song written and then performed and then completed isn't doesn't automatically get you out there. Then you have to distribute it, right? And so this book, I've got it completed, and now it's a matter of getting it distributed, getting it to its audience. So June 30th, coming up in a week and a half, is my next public speaking engagement to the Armenian community. And it's going to be another one of those milestones that propels things even further forward. So just pray for me. That's all I can say. Pray for me. Got the balls in the air. And so Christine, this is one thing I was saying. I kind of went on the Serge Tonkian sidetrack. Um, what needs to happen with Christine and I is one-on-one time. Right? We had a couple meetings. The second meeting was a very good, productive meeting, but it introduced some information that uh, everybody that was present um, maybe got sidetracked or misinterpreted it a little bit. I had a friend come in to the second meeting, a guy named Justin Wells. He's a filmmaker. He teaches film at Biola, and he works professionally Um, Thank you, Carrie. Yes, indeed. Um, so I had him come in, and he showed a case study of a guy who started with a script, then converted into a graphic novel. The graphic novel got an audience, got traction, and then it was also turned into a stage play. And because of the success of the graphic novel and the stage play and the interest, he got a limited series deal. So his script turned into a TV show. All right. And that's not how it normally happens. Normally, you go and you sell your script and somebody makes it into a TV show. Well, that's pretty hard for outsiders. Even a person that's not an outsider like myself, that's, it's extremely difficult for that. But now you can create your own other products. Like the graphic novel wasn't the script, but it was a version of the script that became its own intellectual property and had got a following. And that way the guy actually establishes ownership even further. But my friend Justin came in to explain this. This is a process that is happening now. I forget what my Justin referred to as a multi-platform something or other. I'll get the name of it. And that's kind of what I'm doing with the book. It's the script plus, right? The script is the main story arc, but it's another level up from just the script. It's got more information. It's got the visuals and the locations and the time frame, etc. And so Justin was showing to the team that I'm doing something that's happening out there. But the team, I think, got distracted by thinking, "Oh, now we have to do a graphic novel, and now we have to do a stage play." And I'm like, "No, no, no." And I didn't say this in the meeting, but the meeting went long, and I'm like, "Well, I'm like, okay, the next meeting, I'll explain to them how this applies to what we're doing, right?" And so people are thinking, "What? We have to find artists to do a graphic novel?" And if I was doing that, I'm like, "Oh, yeah, that's another 6 months, and I got to raise money just for the artist, blah blah blah." No, that's not what we're doing. But we will do a graphic novel. It's not what we're going to raise money for, or it's not, we're not shifting gears from what we've been doing to do graphic novel now. Graphic novel has always been on the radar. And so I have to explain to them how all of these fit together. So today is a day off from work, actually. Today is Juneteenth, I guess is what the new holiday or holiday is called. So I think at first, I was like, "Oh, I can't afford a day off from work," but I think it's actually a paid holiday, I think. Something well, so I have the day off. I gotta do some get caught up on some things I need to do, and we got 2 more minutes. What else? You guys are so good hanging out here, just listening to me. Mm, 30 minutes is too short. Yeah, let's see. Well, I do let me just put this up. Solomon, but Solomon. Yeah, what you've done is, um, yeah, made him real. It's crazy to think, I mean, these old Armenians that I was hanging out with last night. I met a 96-year-old Armenian fellow last night. None of them have any idea that Solomon wrote his own memoir, right? This great hero wrote his own story. Like, they have no idea that he wrote his own story. It's like, wow, this story really has been, sidelined, been suppressed. And so it's a joy and an honor to get this out to their own community, uh, and when they see how like you guys have been my test market, right? You guys come and want to hear more and more about it, and some of you have bought the book and read it and realize, oh, this is amazing. When oh, there's Robin with 28 seconds left. Hi, Robin. Good to see you. Um, Armenians live forever. Yeah, 96 years old. Um, when they see that's what's going to happen is when when the Armenians start seeing the non-Armenians fall in love with what I'm doing with this story, they're going to get excited, and it's going to spread like wildfire. that's a moment that's right on the horizon. All right. Love you guys. 2, 3, 4. Yeah. Love you guys. See you tomorrow. Bye.